Hey guys, Editor Solaris here. Real quick before the video starts, there's something that I need to add that happened post-recording. The original idea of this video was supposed to be me, Void, and Christian Crab discussing our thoughts on current and future Asuka. Unfortunately, Crab was unable to join due to some personal things IRL, but they were actually able to get in contact with Gobou and asked him his thoughts on the current Asuka. If you want to read the full conversation between them, it will be at the end of the video. A huge thanks to Void and Crab for helping me out with the video, and links to both of their channels will be in the description, along with timestamps if you want to jump to whatever part of the video you want to jump to. Thank you, and enjoy the video. Alright, hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Solaris and today we have a special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Void, and I'm kind of washed at this game. I haven't been playing in a while. I used to put out content for this game daily, and I no longer do it. But
Yeah,
it's still dear and near to my heart. So I appreciate the chance to talk about it with anyone.
yeah, I feel you on that. A lot of people that I talk to have, well, not subtly dropped the game, but just, at different points they say they've stopped playing it. I think most people are just waiting for a new season, so we'll have to see how that works out.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that, and also just like life getting in the way. I don't have the time this year to like put 2 hours into the game daily as I used to, so I don't. I just can't.
That is very true. In all honesty, I'm waiting for the well, I don't know if it was confirmed, but I heard someone talk about it, the replay takeover system from Tekken and Street Fighter.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm personally waiting to do, well, for them to add that. I seen a mod for it, but I didn't get where it was from the person who was using it. And honestly, as much as I want to try to lap the game, it is a little difficult because you have to set up the right scenarios, and then you can't, when you go into training mode or the replay system, you can't go backwards. You have to restart the whole round, which I still don't understand why that's a thing, but yeah, that's why I haven't been labbing. I just been mainly running off of knowledge that I've had, like the years that I did lab and just how much I played the game. So
Yeah, I'm just really bad at labbing in general, so any tools will help me. I'm kind of waiting to see how the ranking mode goes. So to see if like I can find something like another way to engage with the game.
oh yeah, well, I'll talk about this really quickly. What I'm waiting for with the ranking mode is it gets me into the right mindset, because when I'm playing tower, I could I could just play against somebody who's just doing their celestial challenge versus someone who's been playing the game for years. You know how it goes, but if I know, what did I say?
It's just really random. Like,
Yeah, definitely random. But I think when you have the ranks in the game, it'll help me get into the right mindset. Like, okay, all of my opponents are going to be on or near my level, so I can't just shut my brain off and go on autopilot, because these people know what they're doing. So it'll help me in terms of just not autopiloting every match.
like I think fighting games are like best enjoyed and learned when you're playing people at around your same level, right?
Yeah.
Because then you're like you can handle enough stuff, but there's also stuff that you don't know, so you will learn that as you play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is indeed true. But today we were just going to talk about how do we feel about Asuka in general. I know for you guys, the season 4 patch has been out for a while. For me, it hasn't been as long, but I have been keeping up with certain parts of the game. Like, well, before I started coming back, I was keeping up with certain parts of the game. And so I just wanted to get another Asuka player's opinion about it, and then we can see what type of hopes, what type of buffs we want to see or potential problems we have with him. If you play Yu-Gi-Oh, you know about like ban list predictions and stuff. This is a popular thing a lot of YouTubers do, so it's something similar to that.
How I feel about Asuka is it's kind of a weird place because I feel we were talking about this like before we started, and I feel that with the level of changes that season 4 brought around, I was kind of in the eye of the storm when it happened, right? You were there when we were playing the games, but like for me it was like, oh, like it was really just a roller coaster, like from like the moment this season 4 trailer like dropped, people were like, oh, what are all these changes? It's gonna be terrible. And then the patch notes came out and people were like, oh, they're like changing a lot of stuff, this is probably gonna be good. And then it came out and it like was bugged, right?
Right.
So it's really hard to not feel that certain characters got a lot of attention at the start of season 4, and a lot of other characters, whether it's for good or for bad, but mostly for bad, were just left as they were. And Asuka in particular is kind of in the middle of that, where there were certain changes to him that were very specific. But besides that, he was mostly the same character. And if we're talking about tier lists and like power levels and all that kind of stuff, I feel that you can't really really talk about the character in a vacuum. So I don't feel that Asuka himself is that terrible as he is currently, because he's not really that different. It's just that the game around him has changed so much and he's just been outpaced in a way.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I feel that this happened to a couple other characters, like, well, Milia was, for example, always kind of like on the bottom end, but this like season 4 came out and it like she had like one change, right? Like besides like some damage numbers. Axel, there's other examples that are like that, but I think that like I'm really I'm really waiting for the next patch of the game, not just because it's been like 8 months since the last one, since
Yeah.
the last real one, but because like nerfing certain characters would like really change things for Asuka and for a lot of other characters, right? So I think that in general, that's the feeling that I get. When it comes to his specifics, I the other issue besides that is just that the way I don't think Asuka has ever been like sincerely buffed throughout Strive. I haven't played him since he came out, but like from what I've seen, like it's always been, oh no, cubes are like too fast, make them slower, or this
Yeah.
thing is too egregious, to take it out and like kind of like try to fix it so it's not that bad when we change this, right? But I don't think he's ever like really been like properly buffed. So that's also left him in a state where he's not really a bad character, because there's still like plenty of things that you can do with him. But he's also not super good at any one thing in particular, without not being a real all-rounder type of character. He has some very serious weaknesses, just like the way his specials work, the way his health works, his normals, like everything to do with Asuka himself like it's kind of designed in a certain way so that you can't just play him like a normal character.
Yeah.
But there's no real game plan when you're playing Asuka, which is kind of fascinating in a way because like a lot of players really can play him very, very differently as a result, right? Uh, but I would like them to be like, this is sort of like what we envision the character to be.
Yeah, that's something actually I want to talk about. I was really thinking about it earlier, think about, what I wanted for Asuka in the future. I feel like the devs have not really given us, like you said, a really good idea of what they want from us. Because I've been playing Asuka since literally day one. I was there. I was watching, Drew's and then Gobou, who were the main two people that I watched when they were putting in work with the character. And it is like you said, Asuka has has only received nerfs. Like until this most recent patch, he has only received nerfs to my knowledge. Like I'm trying to remember if there was any buffs, but not really. He's just mainly received nerfs. But the thing is that you could tell that the devs didn't want us to just abuse test case 3 because the first round of nerfs besides like the cube speed. Well, I don't know about the first round, but very quick into his development, they nerfed test case 3 and then nerfed it again, showing us that they wanted us to do something else. But the thing is that even with the most recent patch, like test case 2 has gotten better, but I still feel like test case 3 for the most part is the best one, and they haven't made the other test cases more. Yeah, they haven't incentivized the use of them more than test case 3.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of designed that way too, right? Like I feel that it's supposed to like you're supposed to like be upping the ante with the character and
Yeah.
sort of be switching between all your like the different test cases, right? Preferably situationally, right? So the test case 3 being the strongest, I don't think that's something that's really going to go away per se, but like the character doesn't really flow that well together.
Mm-hmm.
And given all the kinds of nerfs that he's gotten, it's like, okay, so you're nerfing his zoning, for example, which is understandable, right? Like it's understandable that you're nerfing like his zoning because it could be really egregious, right? It could be really egregious to like have people blocking forever. Like I got that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like you design the character having the kind of movement and kind of normals that he's got back when his zoning was good, but you change one thing and you didn't change the other thing. So it's like where do we go from that? Because he's his offense is like really can really like mess you up while you're playing him if you don't really be careful with him. It's very
Mm-hmm.
easy to just be like, oh, I threw 2 things and like that's a quarter of my mana, now I'm getting hit, right? It's like, okay, you don't want me to play him full screen, I got that, so you nerfed him, got it, but then you give other characters like tools in order to still get me full screen, right?
Yeah.
It's like I was like, this is just an anecdote, right? But like, I was getting on the game like yesterday just to like warm up a little bit and just play a little bit. And I was playing this Batman and like the connection was terrible, right? So I was getting really, really frustrated. But that person did not do a single burst. It was all white wall assault, right? And it's like that thing travels the whole screen, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just there and not being able to zone big body characters, and so it's like I don't know what to do. You just sometimes I'm just like stuck there, not really knowing how to solve a particular matchup, right?
Yeah.
And and I don't think that that's only me, right?
Although I experience that all the time. Something that I've been doing is I've been mainly just sticking to test case one. I think Gobou's been doing something similar to this, but just sticking to test case one, trying to find the right range for different characters. And from what I've got so far, if the opponent is able to challenge me, or if it's hard to get them off of me, or if they're able to challenge me at distances I don't want, maybe I'll stick to test case one because it has more get off of me tools versus 2 or 3. I mean, 3 has teleport, which is useful, but it doesn't get them off of you. You still have to fight back. But if the opponent is slower and I have more time to think and they can't challenge me, then I'll go for test case 3. Arpeggio, start throwing up some staffs, stuff like that. So yeah, it is really hard finding that right range.
Right. It's really interesting because like I remember I remember like the nerfs in season 4 were like, let's be honest, they were mostly just directed at Gobou, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
like it was like he's the person that they really looked at. But it's really funny because I remember watching Gobou right before that happened, right? Like semi regularly because he streams a lot of his a lot of time on YouTube
Okay.
playing Strive, and he would do this thing where he would be on test case 3. He even kind of did this in a match against Varix, where he would go to test case 3, like get them blocking, build enough tension,
Tension. Yeah.
switch to test case 1, and then look for the fast staff, right?
Yeah, I seen that.
Right. And it's like next patch, it's like, oh, we're nerfing everything that Gobou can do, but you kept the fast staff as it was, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like you did not see the thing that was coming after, right? That is to have that thing nerfed.
Right.
But
Gobou's always coming up with some new strategy.
yeah, but it's I don't know. Yeah, like I've uh that's
That.
that's that's one of the reasons why, like I think that really when it comes to like if we're talking about buffing him or nerfing him further, it really needs to come down to what you want to do with the character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want him to play in a certain style, I don't you are going to have to make the necessary adjustments, right?
Mm.
I don't personally think that they should try to revert a lot of the things that they've changed, right? I've seen people be like the moment the S4 like patch notes and stuff like dropped, like I remember ZATO was like, oh, they nerfed cubes. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, guys. I'm really sorry for playing this game and winning with this character. It's all my fault. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, like I like, but like, let's be honest though, like. The immediate 5 Qs was like, oh, like, yeah, it was good, but it was also kind of a little bit too much, right? Like,
Yeah. I'll give you that. It was a really good move.
right. I think that I want the character to be good, but I also don't want him to be kind of too brainless, right? Kind of to get this one thing and you won, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that just makes him like way less interesting because like I think that the ultimate like vision for Asuka would be to like play the character in like his entirety, right? Like with all the spells, all the test cases, using all your stuff, right? Instead of like trying to fish for the win condition that will make the other player not play anymore. right?
Mm. Yeah, I 100% agree with you because as much as I love Test Case 3, it's still by far the most fun test case to me. It is pretty upsetting or saddening to me, like especially before we could even switch between test cases with the super rework, with full order rework. It was really, disappointing that from what we knew at the time, just switch to Test Case 3, get your stats out, get whatever buffs out, and then you have a designated game plan. Well, I don't think it's a bad thing that he had, like one win condition where if you achieve that, you're doing good. But I do agree with the fact that having more options, because Asuka is all about options. He has basically everything you need in the game. He has movement with teleport. He has zoning. He obviously has mix ups. He has a DP, no matter how slow and meta reliant it is. He has a DP before the nerfs, and even post nerf, he still has a pretty good super. I mean, both his supers are good. He's just a very versatile character that it is unfortunate that he just got pushed to that point where it's just get test case 3 and then win, even though I still think it's very skillful. Like, even getting to that point and then post that, you still have to have skill to close out the rounds, of course. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just like my particular like idea of what the character like ought to play is probably not the same as other people, right? But I'm just the kind of person that's like, well, this thing is in the game. I kind of want to do it, right? Like, it's like, I remember back when people like didn't like test case 2. I mean, I guess they still don't, right?
Yeah.
Back when it used to be worse, that I was like, I still try to use it because it's fun to play the character differently and try to do as much as you possibly can with what he's got. As you said, he's like very, very versatile. So I would like to. Well, I'm not playing regularly anymore. But like, my ultimate goal with the character would have been to develop a playstyle that takes all the test cases and everything into consideration, right? Which is kind of like idealistic, obviously, but I think that's the most fun that you can get out of a character like this.
So, okay, so I'll actually make this into the second point that I have here. So you think that, like, is there anything in particular you think could make him more fluid and fun? Like, do you want like anything you could think of that certain parts of his kits needs buffs or nerfs that could, achieve that your ideal Oscar? And then I'll say whatever mine is.
Well, I think that the two things that need buffs the most are like the DP and
True.
the soul staff. Like that DP is just, I never get tired of saying how bad it is. I remember I was watching like a clip by Lord Knight, and I don't remember who else, talking about what are the worst moves in a fighting game, and they brought up, like, Lord Knight brought up things like Sin Eat, right, or like the aerial version of like Bridget's command throw, which like you have no reason and no situation which is useful, basically, right? But the thing is that even with those things, they're kind of worthless and they're just sort of there, right? But you don't need to use them, right? There's never, like, they're
Right.
never in your face being like, hey, here you go, here's your turn to use Sin Eat, right? You have to use it, or you have to make time to get it out the way, right?
Yeah.
And Asuka DP is exactly like that, right? It's like every time you draw, it's like, okay, here we go. What are we doing with this? Am I going to have the chance, or am I going to die in the attempt, right?
The thing is, I just wanted to say so real quick. The thing is that with the DP, it feels like it's never the right time to have it. Because I mean, there's never really a right time, because you draw it round start, right? What do you do? Just YOLO DP? It is so it works. I won't lie, it does work a decent amount of the time, but that's still a different card that could have been used for almost anything besides like the slow staff. But yeah, it's just like if you're in the defensive position to where you need to use it, then it's like you're already not in a good position. And it takes like what 15-20% of your mana to really bit.
20%. It's the
Yeah.
second most expensive thing he has after the arpeggio, right? It's like the slowest DP in the game. It can't like jumping opponents. It doesn't even give you like they removed DPRC, so you can't do that anymore.
And it's one of the slowest in the game too. Don't forget that.
Yeah, like it does like very little damage. I guess it does hard knockdown, but like why like do 2D and you also get a hard knockdown. And it's probably less risky.
So yeah, I understand what you're saying about that. DP, yeah, that's a whole. Well, what about the slow staff though? What's your beef with that?
Slow staff is just a matter of there's nothing it's really super good at doing, right? Like it technically can create like hindrances for the opponent, right? But it's just a matter of it not having any like super good properties compared to any of the other like staffs that he has, right? Because like fast staff is like busted. Like it's the one thing that he has that is actually
Yeah,
like really busted.
We know that, yeah.
Then you have the gravity staff, which is pretty good. Like the rejection staff is situational, but like you can do a whole variety of things. Then you have the test case 2 staffs, which they have their uses, right? But slow staff is like you are making your cube slower, and that does what exactly? Like they just makes them into bigger targets. It makes them easier to get hit, and your reward is okay, but it doesn't it's just not that good. Like it needs something extra, right? Like getting greedy, what I would do is that the cubes can tank a hit for you, but that would be actually insane, right?
Wait, you're saying like while you're if they're right up on you, but then you cast it, or they like try to chain a move into another move and hit you, they basically they add like a Jacko shield or something like that. Is that what you?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
More like the way Happy Chaos clone used to work.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But that would be insane, right? But I think it's something of that order where it's like they're harder to destroy, or they're like they can't be destroyed by normals anymore, or something like that, right? Just to make it more dangerous, because you get it and it's like, oh, it's there. I guess I might use it or not.
Yeah,
right.
I must say I think it has potential to be more of a defensive ability, but I think that honestly, I think what needs to happen is maybe, well, besides it being defensive, I think in terms of offensive, I think maybe it could use like a slight speed increase, because it's so slow to the point where it's just like a silly target. But if it's just a tiny bit faster, it can mess up the opponent's timing on hitting your Q. So for in terms of offense, I think that'd be pretty decent, like maybe like 25-50% faster. But in terms of defensive, I do like the idea about the Happy Chaos clone type thing. And I don't know, it's just really hard, because it's really not much you can do with it. But just it tanking an extra hit would go a long way, or maybe preventing, if you have the triple cube, the one, triple cube, but it prevents. I don't know. It's I had something going there, but when I started thinking about it, I was like, never mind. It's hard to think about what you want to do with this one. So
Yeah, I think the easiest fix that you can have would be to just like take the guard crush from fast staff and just give it to the slow staff. So like at least it can be good when they're already blocking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that would also get rid of like fast staff being so strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that like being brought around, right? Besides that, the only other spell that I think is kind of weak is the test case 2 mana card, right?
Yeah.
Which is it's a very interesting situation because uh it's weak, but it's usable, right? Which is the important thing. Because back in the day, back in season 3 and before, that spell used to be non-functional pretty much, right? Like you could use it, but it would like you would need to have like 50% tension in order to use that, right? Because it would just delete your entire hand, right? And now it's a weak spell, but it's really it's actually kind of not an issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I saw you were playing and like experimenting with Tesketsu and how much more fluid it was, right? uh I don't think that the way it works right now is really bad, but it could help if it gave you just a little bit more mana, right? Simply out of purely because it's just the numbers thing, right? Because like you have the mana spells from Teskes 1, Teske 2, Teske 3, right? And the mana spell, especially from Teskes 3, is like super good. And
Mm-hmm.
the one for Teskes 1 is pretty good, right? And Teskes 2 gives you like 24% mana on use, right? Which
Yeah.
is enough for like one of your mid-sized spells and a half, right? But you can technically still do the same thing with just the mana buff from Jeske's 1. And in fact, you would like, let's say you have 3 fireballs and they all 3 of them cost 16% mana, right?
Right.
And the mana buff will half that to 8%, all 3 of them, right? And the test case 2 mana card will give you 24% mana, so you can do 3 fireballs for the exact same cost, but you can only do 2 with the test case 2 mana, right? So it doesn't really like edge out the other 2, which really makes test case 2 kind of come off weaker, because like those spells are really kind of like the core along with the staffs. They're the core of what makes each of the test cases, right?
True.
There was a fix that I saw on Twitter, I think, which was that instead of like changing the amount specifically that it gives you as it is right now, what you would do would be like the less spells you have on your hand, the more it gives you back your mana. Sort of like it used like basically a backwards way of how it used to be. Whereas like if
Yeah.
it's the last spell that you have, you get like 50 60% mana or something. I don't know, right? And if it's the first if it's the first thing that you use and you have the rest of your hand, it's like 20%, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something like that would like really make it a lot more dynamic, right? Because the way it is right now is like you use it and there's no damage in using it, but there's no like, oh,
You know, the good thing about Test Case 2 with the reworked mana card though is, it's like you said, it's just a numbers thing. All they have to do is just increase the numbers and then people would be more than willing to start using it, So I have a lot of hope for Test Case 2 and for the mana card. Will it be better than the other two? It's still debatable. You know, like you said, it's a whole numbers thing, but it does have, you know, really big and easy potential. So there's that.
Yeah, I understand why they didn't like go full out, right? Because like on the one hand, you don't want to just like give Banner for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, they really wanted to remove like some of the defensive strats that Asuka had. One of them was the using the Teska's 3 mana card to just sort of tank hits and
Mm-hmm.
tank so that it wouldn't hurt as much, right? But at the like at the same time, it's like back in the same like idea where it's like you keep nerfing this character, like you're never really like you keep taking things out and then you don't really give me back anything to work with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on that uh on that line, I think that I could really go into like all like change like some of the properties of cubes, like for example not making them like special cancelable or something like that, or like
Yeah.
letting like the close-up spells like clash with projectiles, right, or stuff like that. But I think that like to me the most interesting things that they could do would be to alter some of like Asuka himself, right, where it's like if you make the character a little bit faster, for example, if you improved his backdash and his run, that would be really really interesting, right? Because then
Mm-hmm.
you could actually play him a lot more rush down, right? Then it could be like yeah, like you could like go from one side of the other with in the screen. That would be really interesting to play with. And I think that one of the changes that you could do that could be really really strong and interesting is to make it so that he just loses less mana in relation to the damage that he takes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that you can't like if you still misuse the character, like don't touch the numbers. So like still make the like misusing the spells be something that's really punishable. But if you're on defense and you're getting really really destroyed, it's a little bit less punishing, right? Because the combat factor for this character is really small sometimes, right? It's like you get mana broken and you're pretty much done, right? uh it was Gobou that said that, like in relation to his matchup with Slayer, that it's like Asuka is a character that like his main weakness is that if you touch him one, he's gone, right?
True.
That's how he's designed, right? So like to like back away a little bit from that would be really good, because you would still be in trouble because like his defense is not like super good, right? uh you could give him like slightly better normals, but I don't think that would like put him in on like top one or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
uh but it's really like small changes like that would really like make the character a lot of good, right?
And that's something that something that I was also thinking about, because I've been thinking a lot about what I would personally want to see, and just making him faster would just be a lot more fair and fun, because like you said, we all know you touch Oscar once he explodes, but either making him faster or just finding ways to increase, or like you said, decrease how much mana he loses for taking attacks, because there's already multiple system mechanics. Not multiple, but the main one, risk, is already there to prevent you from defending, because Guilty Gear is a very offensive game, and it's been like that since the beginning. Risk is there because they want you to always be fighting back. Your meter goes up when you initiate it, but versus when you're defending, you're using that meter for FD, you're using it for YRC, and you got burst and all that. But me personally, I just really want, if I had to pick like where I would like for them to focus, honestly, I would like them to tackle the matchups, because I feel like a lot of matchups in this game, especially after Asuka got nerfed, just feels like it just feel almost impossible. Like I
Yeah.
I know that I could be better as a player. I know that there are obviously better Asuka players than me out there, but you can't deny that all the work it takes to make some of these matchups even look remotely playable. Because I was actually talking to Crab a couple of days ago, and I got in contact with him, and I was like, man, what what is this new Potemkin? I'm like, bro, like what, how do you do this? Because he sent me some videos about him playing against, who's that one pot player who won a tournament? I think his name starts with an A. He's
Boy.
no, it's someone A B some, I forget who it is. He's a really notable pot man who's been playing him for a really long time, and he won a tournament, like a really big tournament, like a year or two ago. But the point is that a lot of these matchups, they just don't feel in my favor at all, and I don't want to feel like I'm forced to switch off of Asuka. If I was playing on playing competitively, I know that not every character can have good or winning or decent matchups, but with Asuka, it feels like some characters you're just forced to switch off of. Like I could bang
Yeah.
my head playing against a Axel or now Potemkin, or I could just pick up a Pocket Soul and then call it a day. And I just really find that sad, because I don't. Maybe anime games entirely aren't for me, but I just don't like that feeling of my opponent's character just completely shutting me down. That's why in my recent video about talking about characters who I don't like fighting, I put Bridget as a mini Axel, because her normals just go through all of my cubes, and I'm just like, man, what do I do now? But
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that it's, when it comes to fighting game discussion, a lot of it is really sort of just reactive, right? Where it's like, oh, you're playing the game, you find a problem, people find strats, find ways to play, and they exploit them in order to get better at the game, right? And then there are people who go on Twitter and are like, oh, you need to remove this thing right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, you have the developers, and the developers don't really design the game that way, right? The developers have an idea and try to realize, right? That's why I think that a lot of people were really mean to the season 4, the idea of season 4, right? And they had their reasons, because when it comes to the actual execution, it was a total mess, right?
Right.
Now we know that they were working on 3 different games while they were doing this, right? One of them being a new Marvel game, right? When I saw that, I was like, oh, I understand it now. But before that, it's like, you've really left us to die, right? And it's understandable that they would feel that way, right? But a lot of the ideas that they had were really not that bad. For example, I don't like Go Lewis, right? But he he was a character who had a resource that didn't really do anything, and maybe giving him multiple behemoth typhoons was not
Man.
the solution, but there was an attempt at making a character who actually had to deal with a resource, right? The execution was another thing, right? So when it comes to changing a character, I think that you really need to like I was saying at the start, it's what do you want me to do as a player when I'm playing this character, right? So I kind of lost my train of thought, right? So when it comes to matchups, right, it's like I understand that I will lose to Axel, right? I
Right.
get that, and I will, like, Asuka's always going to lose to Axel. Like, that's just how the two characters are. Like, that's what they are, right? One is a normal zoner, and the other is a zoner, right? That's not going to go away, and it shouldn't go away.
Right.
Asuka losing to Pod because he literally can't do anything is like not how the game should be designed, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, especially with the flick change, it's like what do you actually like you already made this game in a certain way, right? You made it so Asuka's specials would not get flicked because they lose to normals, right? Like, Pot already has like giant normals that can reach me if I'm at a certain distance,
Right.
right? So like he didn't even really need that change, but they gave it to him anyway, right? So it's like that is a matchup that Asuka should win, right? It's a big body character, like I said before, it's like I like you really don't want me to play full screen, but it's like where else am I gonna play, right? It's like if you get close to Pod, he will pod buster you. His punch and kick normals are insane. At mid screen, you also can't do anything, and at full screen, you also are not allowed to do anything anymore, right? So it's like, where is the plan, right? Like,
And
where are the weaknesses? Yeah.
the thing is too is, with them buffing test case 2 and with the other changes they made, if they wanted to incentivize us to go in, find up the opponent, find the opponents closer, our normal should have been buffed to compensate, because yeah, test case 2 is good, and you obviously use it at the right times, but when I'm not in that advantage situation no more, I don't have as many zoning tools as I would if I was in the other test cases. So at 2D, yeah, I kind of want to make a whole other section about 2D, because I think that's a move that really needs to be discussed, because it's really hard for you to fight these characters, like Pot now, with characters who are easily able to stop your zoning, because your normals, they aren't even like Ram levels of normals. They aren't Unica's levels of normals. They're decent for what they are, but compared to what the other characters in the cast have, it's almost not even this. It's not even the same thing, because I forget who it was. I think it was Biken who has like a below 10 frame, or maybe a 10 frame far slash, or was it
Mhm.
Johnny or something like that. Just these characters who have insane startups on their moves versus Asuka's is like what, 12, 13 frames, and even then you don't get much off of it unless you have resources. So yeah, I'm just really confused by what do they want us to do, because I tried playing against Pawtucket. I was like, okay, usual strats aren't working, let's go for test case 2. Obviously did not work out in my favor. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
just weird.
It's like okay, like Asuka, like 5H, right? It's like it's not a bad button, right? But if you look at the frame data, it's like a giant Oreo where it's like here's the heart box and here's the hit box,
Mm-hmm.
and if you get hit, you get hit, right? But then you look at RAM and it's like, yeah, the entirety of her sword is a hard box. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't touch her, right?
Mm-hmm.
It feels unfair, right? Like, because like you have these characters who are like allowed to do anything, who have like such easy win conditions, right? Because it's like you block Ram and you're dead, right? It's like you like Pod doesn't even need to block and wake up. Like I played Pods who beat me who did not block on wake up, right?
Right.
And it's like you have Gold Lewis can do anything, right? You have Johnny, like insane dash, like they gave Mistfiner projectile clashing right after they massively buffed him, like massively buffed Mistfiner. right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like some characters just get to do everything, and some other characters get to do pretty much nothing, right? Uh, and it's just really weird because you're putting it feels that it's always like the more complex characters with like a very few exceptions, right? Because it's like you've only like nerfed Happy Chaos. You almost you almost shoot down Jacko when they nerfed her 2D and then they reverted it. You keep like nerfing Asuka. You like Venom is all right. uh you buffed Batman, I guess, right? Eno is now like pretty good
Mm-hmm.
after a while, right? But it's mostly like these set play, and of course there's ZATO, right? Let's not forget.
Yeah, buff ZATO, please. I'm saying this is not even a ZATO main. Please buff him. I love playing against
Like,
ZATOs.
it's it's like you have these characters, it's always the most complicated characters that get shot like the hardest, and they keep getting shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, which and it's like you keep buffing characters who are like take no effort and who like have such like win conditions that sometimes they just don't need to do anything, right? Like you play Asuka Slayer and it's like, oh, they did Mappa Hunch, I guess I lost. Right?
Mappa Hunch counter hit. Like I remember Slayer first came out, he did the Mappa Hunch super on me, and I had 50% HP, and but it has a sweet spot, so it hits twice, and I ran out of mana, and I just like, what the happened to
What
me?
is that thing? Yeah, it's like I guess I'm bad at the game, right? Like,
I just so happened to got hit by the full screen neutral skip, you know. But I think the reason why these characters get treated that way, or you know, like they don't, sometimes they receive harsher nerfs, is because because one, you know, you have to keep in mind all skill levels of the game. Showing, you know, somebody who just started the game, Asuka, they're not gonna know to hit the cube. So there's already a power imbalance, you know, at the beginning, because they're like, man, what am I supposed to do against this character? So then, you know, the devs start adding in, you know, more and more counterplay. But I think the biggest thing is that maybe they see the potential in what the character can do, but nobody has actually reached what they think is possible yet. So maybe they just have this fear in the back of their head, like, okay, we can't give Zato or Asuka too many things because they're going to start doing unblockable setups. They're going to start steamrolling. But I feel like, and especially with, you know, how social media is these days, a lot of people, now I don't know if it's like this in Stride, but a lot of people in Tekken say that, you know, Tekken is balanced by Twitter, so, you know, take that for
yeah,
what you will. But
kind of,
a lot of people
kind of.
who might not know what they're exactly talking about, they might, you know, they might have a loud voice, they might not. But the thing is that the developers do notice what people are saying, they are listening. And so, you know, it's either you appease a few people or do you appease the majority. And it does suck when it happens, because there is because I just imagine, think about, I know it would be toxic, but just think about if we had Prime like release Asuka, but we had the years of experience that we could do now, you know? And then I'd be like, okay, I can see why he needs to be nerfed, you know? Because we weren't even really doing anything that crazy. The character was not out for that long, and yeah, I just feel like he got shot down way too quickly, you know?
I think that in part, you know, like him being nerf has led to people do more things with him. Like that's absolutely true, right? Um, on the other hand, though, like I feel that the whole social media thing is kind of scary, because like the whole thing with like Pod and them reverting the change to Scaras is like, I think that set a really bad precedent,
Mm-hmm.
because it showed that if you were loud enough, they would go and change it despite the fact that it would really wreck the game, right? Uh, and it did, right? Like that's exactly what happened, right? Part of it is also just like Arxis's inability to like beat up in a timely manner,
Right.
uh where it's just like again, like I can see what you're trying to do with season 4, but number one, you did not playtest this because like it came out bugged, like literally bugged.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, you should have been like watching, like the moment this thing dropped, you should have been watching what's going on, and a month after, you should have been, yeah, we're making changes according to your feedback, right? Uh, right, because you were like massively changing the game in a way that you hadn't before, in such a drastic manner, you know, like, and I think that the reason why they've really waited so long to change, to drop another patch, is because they want to really balance the game, but at the same time, it's like I get it, but also like just nerf like the top 5 characters, dude. Like it's like like you didn't need like months and months and months to know that White Walled Assault at like season 3, like the later version of White Walled Assault, where like it traveled the entire
Oh
screen
man.
and was plus, like super plus. Like
Guard
you
Crush
didn't
too.
need like guard crush, yeah, like you didn't need that amount of time to know that that was up like a problem in itself, right? Like that should just not work. Like Gold Lewis should not have 2 round start reversals that travel the entire screen and leave him plus, right? Like that should not happen. Like it should just not,
You know,
right?
funny thing is that if I was thinking about it at the time, I should have been recording each time a goal Lewis did White Wild Assault round start. I swear, it's like it was always the goal Lewis players. I'm like, okay, I'll just sit here, wait for White Wild Assault. They just keep doing it. I mean, I can't blame them. The move was good, but I'm like, God damn,
I
golly,
actually
man.
I actually made a video like way back about that, where it's like I edited the video. I called it. I don't know if you've watched or read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, uh, but there's this ability in JoJo King Crimson that allows you to skip time, right? And I called it a Gold Lewis match, but King Crimson activates whenever he uses White Wall of,
Oh,
and I
I
right.
get it.
So yeah, I cut from one White Wall assault to the other, from like him doing something to him doing the next one, and then at the end of the match, because it's like, dude, like you we could just ignore what's going on, right? Like
Hmm.
it's like
I want to go watch it after we get done with this. That sounds pretty funny.
yeah, yeah. It like it's one thing or the other, right? You can't like do both things. You either have to really take your time and drop a patch that you know is going to work to play
Hmm.
test it, and you have to do the boring work, or you have to actually be active and be like, yeah, like maybe Johnny should not be intangible when he's running, right? Like maybe maybe it shouldn't be that way, right? Uh, but yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
like
think. Well, I was say I think with the fighting games, I don't even think it's really just a arc system. It's just fighting games in general because the patches do take a really long time to come out. Because versus the other mainstream games like Marvel Rivals, I don't know, Apex, Fortnite, like these games, their patches are fairly quick. I do think that the cycle needs to be shorter because 8 months is, whew, that's a long time. I think
yeah,
maybe a 4 month will be 3 to 4 months, 4 3 4 months, 5 months. I think that'd be a good middle ground in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel that partly part of that is just these companies being Japanese, and
Yeah.
the kind of like corporate structure that goes on in a Japanese. Like we're pushing a product now, and we're doing it this time, and we're preparing up to this release, which is kind of like a double-edged sword sometimes, right? Sometimes it works well, and sometimes it, right? But I think I really wish that Arxis would adapt to like the current climate, right? Like it's like you have like you really have the stage. Like I remember back in the day when I was a teenager, I knew about Guilty Gear, and I was like the only person I knew that knew about the series, right?
Mm.
And nowadays it's like, oh yeah, you're the third biggest fighting game of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, like you're it's like it's Street Fighter, Tekken, and then Guilty Gear Strive, right? Uh, so I really hope that they keep like like polishing the game and like helping it, and like I'm glad for things like the training replay, the like the having frame data on training. I know it's not
Uh-huh.
what everyone wanted, right? But at least they know. At least we know that they know, right? Them changing the ranking mode. Those things also really help a lot, I think. Uh and it's just like it's responsiveness from them that I literally said, because like they put out a patch for like the box in season 4 very quickly, and it was like very good. I'm really happy with this. I hope that you can keep dashing out like patches
Right.
like this quicker, and it didn't happen. But I like I hope they can adapt that. Like I hope they can, because I like Strive, like I don't play it as much as I did last year because my life has changed a lot. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I still have fun, right? Like I actually, like I was thinking, like I still follow a lot of people on Twitter, and a lot of people, like I made a lot of friends, thanks to Strive, right? Uh, I almost thought like really seriously about quitting the game, but then
Really?
I just happened to like play someone that I had known for a while, who I really respected, right? And basically by chance, because I hopped on someone else's stream, and we were both there, and we just started playing, right? And it happened, and I was like, hey, actually probably not like horrendous as at the game as I thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but like if one of my friends asked me to play the game, I was like, yeah, sure. Uh, like it's like I want to keep playing it, even if casually, right? Like it's a good game. I think it's a good game. Like there are a lot of people who have really bad blood when it comes to this game,
Yeah.
uh, but it's like it's here to stay, whether they like it or not, right? So I want it to be better. Like the solution is not to get rid, but to improve it.
Yeah, and I'll say for myself, back when I first started doing streaming and stuff, I played Strive since the very beginning for the most part. I say that Strive was like my first real fighting game. I played other fighting games before. I really liked playing Fighter Z, but I'd mainly just play around with my friend. He bullied me at cross tag with with Adachi and you setting up unblockables, and then when I played then he played Tager on me. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I say Strive was like the first time where I was like, okay, this is a new fighting game. I really want to start learning, and then I played the game. I still do enjoy Strive now. I've been playing Asuka since he came out, and back when I first started streaming, I had well, I had moved from where I currently am now, but I had moved there, and then I started going to some tournaments. I didn't go to as many as I wanted to because, you know, life stuff, but I did meet a lot of cool people in the community when I was playing in tournaments. And nowadays, I still do want to compete, honestly, but it's just a lot of stuff that you have to. It's a very inconvenient as well to do a lot of things to get good at the game. So, you know, we was talking about earlier, but you know about the replay system that Tekken and uh, Street Fighter have, where you could just jump straight into the replay and then test out different solutions. Because my issue right now is, yeah, I could try to learn all the defensive stuff that I need to learn, but then you probably have to go into 15 different discords asking people for help, and the replay system is really clunky. But so right now I'm just playing casually, but I do still try to get better. I play in training mode. I play off stream occasionally. And I really do like Strive. I still love playing the game. I just want them to optimize it so it can feel like a modern fighting game because, you know, it's like you said, the game is here to stay. So, I mean, I still enjoy it and I want ArcSys to, you know, do the best that they can with the game. So, it's kind of like my whole thing about it.
Yeah, for me, it was also like my first like real fighting game where I was like really engaged, right? And like I said, all of those tools are really really good because I feel that for a long time, and this includes fighting game devs, but not so much because they're kind of like isolated from the rest of like the video game industry. But for a long time, developers had the idea that people wanted games that were easier to really master, right? And I don't really think that's the case, right? I think that most people are fine. I mean, I guess there are some people perpetually like like hurt in the ego, right, and will never accept that someone else is better than them, right? But I think that most people are fine knowing that there's more to the game that they can't do, right? Ultimately, like you just do whatever you can and you go as far as you can take yourself, right? But it's really the steps that matter, right? Think about it this way. A like tossing it like a coin toss is a perfectly good game but is supremely uninteresting, right? It's 50-50, right? So like it's perfectly fair, but it's not fun because it's just one or the other, right?
Yeah.
So we get more and more complex games in order to make things more interesting and have more leeway in how like we can fail and we can succeed, right? In a certain way, like designing a video game, you're mostly like really designing all the ways in which a player can fail more than all the ways in which they can succeed, because the way to success is like relatively straightforward if you think about it, right? But it's all the things that could go wrong that are like the meat and potatoes of the actual game, right? So it's really all those things that make a game interesting, right? Because personally, I'm not a really competitive person, right? I'm not. I didn't get into Strive because I was like super competitive and I really wanted to. Like I do have an ego and I feel bad if I do bad and I feel good if I do good. But ultimately, simply winning does not motivate me because it's like it isn't it's too much effort for something that I'm doing ultimately for pleasure. But making the game interesting and making it, you know, like feel fair and feel well thought out and feel like you like there are possibilities whenever you do things, that makes the game interesting, right? That's why I gravitate to characters like Asuka, right? Because it's like you have all these things that you can do, right? And yeah, like it's difficult to figure out how to use them, but like you have so much to play, right? uh it would be really hard for me to like play Soul, not because like there's anything wrong with Soul bad guy, right? But
Hmm.
because I'm just more interested in like something that's like a bit more gimmicky, if you would, like more complicated. uh uh but it's just a matter of how you keep the player engaged and how you keep giving them tools in order to improve and in order to get better at the game, rather than I don't know, having them just explode, right?
Yeah, because something that I was thinking about just now is you have to set personal goals for yourself, because it's like they always say, it's about the journey, not the destination. So
Right.
yeah, you could play, if I really wanted to, I could, start learning about the meta characters. I could start winning. But for a lot of people, like when you're designing games, they don't just want to win, right? If that was the case, that everybody would just
Right.
be playing the easiest game that they could
Right.
possibly play. It's all about finding things about the game, because there's a lot of different games. Like a game that I play, for better or worse, Dead by Daylight, is a game where the objective is really simple. Just escape from the killer, repair 5 gens, and then leave. But I can't lie that the people in content creators have made that game so much more enjoyable than what the devs solely made it out to be. You have different builds that you can play. You have people, doing things that you didn't even think was possible in the game. And it's just, you gotta get people's minds rolling. Like, how do you incentivize them to to win, but to also do things outside of the what you want them to do, so that they can find things to keep themselves entertained. So I think it's a really delicate balance that a lot of devs have to figure out, and something that Strive could definitely try to get more people in there. Like, I don't want to say ranked will help, but I feel like they could definitely do more, like with the 3v3 mode that they added. I remember talking to my friend a couple months before I started playing again. I was like, hey, how did 3v3 go? I played the beta, but I never kept up with the official release. And then he said that he couldn't find any matches online. I was like,
Yeah.
dang. I couldn't say
Yeah, it
anything
came to win.
else. Yeah. I was like really disappointed to hear that, because I think the concept was really cool. I wanted to actually play it some more, but if I can't even find any matches, I'm guessing that they didn't implement it well enough for it to be interesting.
Yeah. It's like there's just, with a fighting game, there's just like so many things that you have to do outside of the game itself. like I actually have like Dust Loop like open up right now to like just check things like frame data with Asuka and what have you, right? But like that's not in the game, right? Like it's like, I mean, technically now it kind of is,
Yeah,
right?
now.
But like but you like having that, like would like accessible to you would like be so much better, right? Instead of having people write it for you, right? uh like even if like something like, like even if like they broadcasted Evo inside of the game, like I've always thought about
Yeah,
that.
that
Like,
that'd be cool, honestly.
yeah, like it's like you have like a thousands of people watching it, like you like it's only a single match, right? Like at least the finals. It's like you can broadcast this, right? Like that would be really interesting to see, and like see a chat inside of the game and what have you. Like it's like just to keep people like engaged and like expanded as a platform, right? Like more than just like a simple game that you turn on and off, right?
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add, Void, before we wrap up? Anything else you wanted to talk about? Because I've got pretty much all the topics I have for us today.
No, I think I'm out of things. Uh, I just wanted to thank you for having me, uh,
Hmm.
and like I hope like one day I can like get back into Strive, right? I made a lot of connections and I got all the stuff that I did in Strive, and I feel that I failed people, but it's a matter of like I got into the game when I was a big like slump in my life.
Hmm.
So like it simultaneously allowed me to continue, right? But it also like became like an obsession for me in a certain way, right? Uh so like I just wish that I can keep it as part of like the things that I do, even if not with the intensity I had once. And like it's good. It's a good thing to just like do it sometimes, right? Because like with a fighting game, it's obviously competitive and you're trying to win, but
Hmm.
you don't really need to like be the best in the world, right? Sometimes it's fine to just be you, right? It's like like a mountain is not made entirely out of the people who like entirely out of the rocks that are at the top, right? Like
Hmm.
you really need everyone, right? uh so yeah, I hope Strive can keep being a thing for like for like 5 years more, right?
Hmm.
Just because I'm attached to it.
And something that I say about me personally is, when I had, when I first started, I was really enjoying, talking to everybody, being in the streams, well, trying to be active on Twitter, even though I don't really post nothing on there. But when I ended up having to stop playing, kind of like how you say, how you feel like you let people down. I felt that way. I really did miss streaming, and I didn't want to just disappear. But as you know, and I'm pretty sure lots of other people know, sometimes in life you just gotta focus on what's really important to you. And so I was a pretty, I say I still am a decent player, but I'm definitely not as good as I was back then. Because like I said, I was actually competing. I was actually in training mode. I was actually labbing, and when I play on stream, especially now, it feels like it's some kind of like imposter syndrome, because I really do. I remember in one of my videos I told people I might not be the best Asuka player, but I want you to be the best Asuka player, or best to your abilities. So I I'm not the guy who knows all the information. I put it in my Twitch, I put it on the YouTube. I play the game for fun, but I do like to compete. And so yeah, I just these days I just try to make sure I keep up, make sure I don't fall behind too much. But I have gone back to enjoying the game. So, and I want to get back to talking to more people. So it took a lot of me thinking about it, but I decided, let me try to give this a try, even though I don't feel like I'm the most knowledgeable. But I know what I'm talking about, but I'm not as knowledgeable as someone like Druce or Gobo, Kokuno, or Christian Crab, or hey, maybe even you. I don't know, but yeah, we'll
No,
see.
you're way better than me. Don't worry about that.
I'll just say we don't know. So yeah, but yeah, I
Yeah.
am enjoying being back and trying to just get involved again. So
Yeah, and I hope the very best for you, and I think that like to me like the biggest compliment that I've ever received from like doing Strive content and like just doing content in general is like, oh, you inspired me to do this thing, right? Like it's
yeah.
like that's probably the best thing that you can get, right? uh or like I didn't think that, you know, I could actually play Asuka, but like then I saw you do it, and I wanted to do it too, right? Like that's really what you want, you know, like. And from like being a content creator, like it, you really come to understand like how much effort it goes into it, and like how much you, being simply a consumer of it, are just taking it for granted, right?
True.
uh but you know, like it does help, right? Like like putting out guides, putting out whatever, you know, like it really does help for people.
And it's like you said, we need all types of people in the community. We all can't be Evo champions, so everybody contributes in their own way, which is the most important part. But all right then. I appreciate all you guys for checking out the video. Timestamps will be there if you want to jump to specific parts, and please make sure to check out Void. Uh, and yeah, any last words? Anything else you want to add?
Not really. You know, like I'm still trying to be like a presence on the internet, even if I'm not I'm not doing Strive anymore. Like you can find me on my YouTube and like on Twitter and on Twitch, where I stream whenever I actually like have something to stream and I'm not tired from work. But I'll be there. You know, like I'll be there if people like want to find me. I'm not difficult to find. uh, and I just hope I just hope, you know, like for the very best. I hope that like the next patch will be good. I hope that Strive will keep on like getting better, you know, like I hope that fighting games can be better. I hope that my life can be better, you know, like I hope everyone's life can be better. So yeah, like thumbs up.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for that, Void. All right, with that, guys, we're out of here. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and farewell.